Welcome back to another episode of Crypto Kenny, where we discuss all things crypto and blockchain. Hello, what's up, everybody? What's up? This is your boy Crypto Kenny. I'm glad you found my channel. So this channel here is going to be dedicated to talking about blockchain and cryptocurrencies. A lot of people have questions for me. I've been involved in this space since about 2015, probably really heavily for the last 5 years. Just doing a lot of research on my own. And I've invested in a lot of these different cryptocurrencies, and the space itself, it just kind of excites me, and I think this is where we're going towards the future. So I talk about it a lot to my friends and family, and I do get a lot of questions. So I decided to create this channel to kind of help people get a better understanding of the technology, and what benefits it has to offer, and how I see this industry shaping and taking us into the future. So I'm glad you found my channel. Hope that you enjoy the information that I present. And with that, let's get into it. This first bit of information to get out the way, just a quick disclaimer. None of the information that I'm going to present is financial advice, so don't take it as that. This is for educational purposes. If you do plan to invest in this space, please do your own research and do and with some due diligence, because it is a very volatile industry. So if you're planning to invest, yeah, don't try to come for my head if you end up losing your money. Just have to get that out of the way. Well, how did this whole thing get started? Well, blockchain. Pretty sure you've heard that word several times now. It's kind of like a buzzword now. Blockchain, how blockchain is going to change the way we transact. It's going to revolutionize the financial industry. And honestly, I'm actually on board with all of those things. I think that it possesses a lot of potential for the future. So what is it exactly? So the simplest explanation for what a blockchain is, I guess you could think of it as a open ledger. So when I say ledger, think of a bank ledger, where this bank ledger contains all the accounts at the bank, and it keeps a running record of all the debits and credits that happen between all the accounts at the bank. But how is it different from a bank ledger? So there's three main differences between the blockchain ledger, or what makes the blockchain unique. It's one, it's open. So anybody has the ability to actually view all of these transactions and all the data or information about each transaction. Anybody can view it as long as you have an internet connection, and a smartphone or desktop, some kind of computer to actually interface with the internet. You are able to actually view the blockchain. Another tenet of a blockchain is that it's distributed. So you'll hear that phrase a lot in this space as well, distributed ledger. So this ledger is distributed, meaning that anybody who's running the protocol on their computer, and if a computer is running this protocol, it's considered a node on the network. So every node on the network actually has a copy of the ledger, the same copy of the ledger. So it's distributed amongst everybody who's running a node. And lastly, the other main pillar or tenet of a blockchain is that it's immutable. You'll hear that a lot as well, an immutable ledger, meaning that once the transaction goes inside the blockchain, it's there forever. It can't be changed. You can't edit. You can't edit any of these transactions. It can't be reversed. Once they're there, it's done. It's a part of the blockchain forever. So a blockchain is open, it's distributed, and it's immutable. Those are the three pillars of a blockchain. Without those, it's not a real blockchain. Okay, just to clear up some slight nuance. I know I had said that it's a copy, right? This distributed ledger is a copy. So technically, it's not a copy. Each ledger on the node it's its own living version of the blockchain. But why is it so revolutionary? That's kind of what I was thinking when I first jumped into the rabbit hole of Bitcoin. So I guess like why is it so special? So before the Bitcoin blockchain was invented, this is a problem that they had been working on for decades. Nobody had figured out how to solve this problem before the Bitcoin blockchain. And what problem is that? It's the double spin problem. So the most obvious use case for blockchain technology is a payments network, right? So if you have this payment network and I have an account with $1 in it, and I want to send this dollar to person A, I only have $1, so I send my dollar to person A. But before Bitcoin blockchain was invented, there was no way to verify that this dollar that I sent to person A, I could send that same dollar to person B. So I only had $1 in my account, and I was able to send it to two people. So you can imagine the kind of issues that would cause if you're actually trying to create a payment network to be used online. It wouldn't work. It doesn't work. So Bitcoin was able to solve this through the invention of the blockchain. So for the first time in history, there was a way to uniquely identify the transactions that were being sent online. And that's what makes this technology so revolutionary. What's actually happening within the blockchain itself? So that's where it kind of gets a little bit more technical. But to simplify it, so you look at this infographic. So you see that someone requests a transaction. So this transaction is then broadcast throughout the Bitcoin blockchain network. So all these computers, they can see that there's a request for a transaction to be made, and then there's another layer to the Bitcoin blockchain where you have miners, and these miners, they have two jobs. They validate the transaction, making sure all the information is accurate and correct within that transaction. And once they verify that this information is accurate, then they add that information to the blockchain. So they have a block of information. Everything that's in this block is correct, and they're able to add it to the blockchain. But before they can actually add it, what makes this system fair? Because once you validate a transaction and you add it to the blockchain, you're actually awarded. You actually receive a reward, and the reward is Bitcoin, the native token of the Bitcoin blockchain. So that's the incentive that people have for running the Bitcoin blockchain nodes. They actually get rewarded for verifying and adding these blocks. So a cool example I like to use when thinking about this, we've all used or have heard of Uber. So think of the blockchain. Think of this process like Uber. You are a rider, and you go out and you request a ride on, we'll call it the Uber blockchain. So now that you've requested this ride, everybody, all the drivers on the network, they can actually see that you requested a ride. So now the drivers, they're gonna, to make this fair system. Currently, how it's done within one of these ride sharing platforms is, I'm assuming that they just pick up whoever's the closest. They select that they want to pick you up. I'm not sure if it's just first come first serve, but in an instance where this is a central controlled app, you can kind of see how it can be discriminating, because Uber could maybe only publish this request to a certain driver. So, but on the blockchain, it kind of solves that issue by just making it random. So everybody can see the transaction, right? So everybody has an opportunity to see this transaction was requested, or see that this ride was requested. We'll go ahead and follow that Uber example. So everybody on the network, we can see that somebody's requested a ride. What incentive do I have for picking you up? I'm gonna get paid, right? So I'm gonna receive payment for actually picking you up. And so everybody else, they're gonna see that they still get this. They have an opportunity to receive the same reward. So what kind of what's gonna stop everybody from just coming and trying to pick you up and we fighting for it? So the Bitcoin block Bitcoin blockchain solves that part by making the second part of the process of adding this block is actually solving a puzzle. So you can think of it as a complex puzzle, and every puzzle piece is a block. And once you key to the puzzle, you're able to add this block of information to the blockchain. And so the way that you actually solve the puzzle and find the key is through computational power on your computer. It basically solves what's called a encryption algorithm. That's getting way too technical, but yeah, that's basically what happens. You can just think of it as a really complex puzzle that you randomly just have to figure out the keys. So you're competing with everybody else to go give this person a ride who requested a ride. And before we can actually go and give you a ride, we have to figure out the puzzle. And once we find the key to actually solve this puzzle, that person is awarded the ride. Now we can go and pick you up. We can add the block to the blockchain, and the transaction's complete. So that's kind of a simplistic way of looking at the whole process of how this actually kind of takes place within the computer, I guess, for lack of better words. Yeah. So if you think of it that way, it kind of simplifies it. Kind of a simplistic way of looking at the whole process behind the scene. And so, and from there, once that transaction is complete, it's added to the blockchain. Now the blockchain has a running record, and everybody on the whole network know that this is the driver who took you. They know where they picked you up from. They know how much you paid for the ride. They know how much the driver got for the ride. They know all the fees involved. They know the route that the driver took to pick you up. They know the route that the driver took to drop you off. All this information is verifiable on the blockchain. So you can think of it like that. And then, so now that you kind of have a better idea of what a blockchain is and actually how it works. So now if you think about this in terms of this whole, the Uber example that I just gave, you can see how the blockchain could actually disrupt Uber or any ride sharing service, because all of this theoretically could be done on a blockchain without this third party central authority kind of matching riders with drivers. All of that can be done on a blockchain. What they're called are decentralized applications. So Uber itself is an app that has a central authority that runs this app. So these apps that are on top of a blockchain, they're considered decentralized applications. There's no central authority. It's all done through code. So you log onto a decentralized app, you request a ride, a driver through the decentralized application comes and picks you up. All the information that you have is on the blockchain. All the information about the driver is on the blockchain. All the information about the route that was taken to pick you up, where you were picked up, all this information is on the blockchain. And so that's just one example of how a blockchain can be used in a different case besides a payment network. So you can kind of use your imagination and see how disruptive the blockchain technology can be. So in any industry where you have this central authority that acts as kind of a market maker, where you're matching a product with somebody who needs a product, or somebody who provides a service with somebody who wants a service. So this a lot of transactions that take place now. There's always a third party or like kind of a central entity that kind of matches the person who needs something with the person who can provide you something. So, I mean, one of the biggest companies that exist, you can think of Amazon. Same thing, right? Amazon is a platform that basically matches people who have products with people who need products. So that was a quick overview of what a blockchain is. So, got any questions? Leave some comments if there are some questions that you may have about this all this technology. I'd love to engage with you guys and see what questions you have and see if I can provide some answers. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Subscribe and set the notifications. So I'll be trying to add videos at least once a week. So stay tuned for more exciting information about cryptocurrencies and blockchain. Hope to see you soon. Thanks. For more of this content, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications.